and I didn't understand why I was feeling empty,
Mm.
why I didn't feel like things were right.
Mhm.
Hello, darling.
Hi, Seohyun.
Hi.
How
It's
are
been so
you?
long.
I know. It's been forever. Girl, you gotta stop shooing my text.
You know, I
I'm
love
just
it
kidding. I
now.
know that we were both busy with a lot
Oh,
of a
oh,
lot of
Grace.
crap that's been going on.
I love how you made me uncomfortable. Yes, I did miss that. How are you, love?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
so yeah, sorry, what?
sorry, no, I just saw your pink room and I was like, what?
Oh yeah, this is my childhood room. So like this I had this pink wallpaper since like 3rd grade and I just never bothered to change it. So it's very pink. The furnitures are very vintage. And then my little, do you see that flower? Oh my god, how embarrassing. I'm like doing my best to cover it right now.
Your little scarf thing is so pretty,
Oh,
though.
thank you. I've been, okay, so let me tell you. Shein, do you know that website?
Yes.
Yeah, that side and I have been really good friends. Let me just tell you. And
Okay.
so we've kind of broken up, so just taking a break. Yeah, because it's been hurting my wallet. So, but anyways, Toyon, it's so good to see you. I hope everything is going better in New York with Corona and whatnot. But if you can give a quick introduction of yourself, that'll be so great.
You're right. Okay. Let's begin. Hi, I'm Seohyun. For those of you watching Grace's podcast, I met her in Berklee College of Music. We graduated together too, which is funny. Yeah, and we've been really close friends ever since, haven't we?
Yeah. I know, she's so smart. That's how she was able to graduate fast. What a smarty.
No,
So,
stop it.
so do you miss it?
What?
Social gathering.
No.
Why?
No.
Where?
Well, you're aside from your face and your smile that makes me laugh all the time. I'm not flirting. I swear, people. I just never very much.
Okay.
Um, you know what? Actually, sometimes, yeah.
Mm,
Which is weird because like, when we used to hang out, I used to tell you all the time how I hate people, how I can't stand hanging out with people.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, which is still very very true, like 90%. But but I still miss Berkeley kids. I still miss like talking to human beings in front of
mm,
me.
mm,
And I think that's just the 6 months of quarantine. You know what I
mm.
mean?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Why do you think you don't really why do you think you didn't have that interest before? Or maybe if you still do, if you can share that with us.
Hmm. I should have thought about. I should have thought about other people's feelings.
Mm,
That was the thing.
okay.
And I just didn't want to anymore.
Like initiating?
No, it's more of the sense that, so I mean, you've had social anxiety before,
Yeah.
so you understand.
Yeah.
So as a child, when I had social anxiety since I was, I'd say, 3 years old. That was when I first started showing symptoms.
Mm,
So when my parents would take me to an amusement park, for instance, I
mm,
would break down crying if there were too many people around me.
mm,
Yeah, and I couldn't look at people in the eye. I have weird issues, man. But
No, it's not weird. Oh.
it's weird for like a kid, but I grew out of it,
Mm,
thankfully.
mm,
But and I think you had a similar story to tell too, Grace. Like,
yeah.
being bullied for a while, being neglected, not
Mm,
being able to build those skills, and just internalizing that. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. I don't think I've ever encountered being bullied, but definitely I have encountered something along with that. My elementary till like sophomore in high school, there will always be like racism about Asians, like with their eyes, or just like having that stigma of like, okay, like she's Asian, she must be good at math. Like I'm gonna ask her all these questions, ask her to do my homework and study groups, but really I want her to do all the work, kind of a thing. Definitely, I have encountered that. It has really hurt me, but I think back then I took it very lightly. It wasn't so like serious to me because I know that they were joking, but I now that I think back, I wish like I could have done something else, but definitely not in a harmful or like a hurtful way, of course. But I wish that I could do something to let my friends know that like this is not okay, and even though like we are friends, like there should be boundaries and like like knowing like what is wrong and what is right. um and with social and anxiety, I definitely have encountered that. I feel like I somewhat still am till this day. I don't know like where it came from. I think it's just kind of genetic almost. Like I feel like my mom is more of an introverted side and my dad is more extroverted, and I'm more of in the middle. Um, and I feel like a lot of people can maybe relate to this or not, but like especially for me personally, I'm very introverted in the beginning when I meet people. It has to take time for me to like get comfortable around the environment and stuff. But I think when I go back to elementary school and middle school, definitely like it was hard for me to understand what my other friends were discussing about because I grew up in a really strict Korean culture, and my other friends were like pretty American, where like when they describe about what they eat, or what they do, particularly something with their families, like for me, like it was something that I could not relate to in a sense, because like with eating dinner, like sometimes my family we would have like a table on the ground and we would all eat, or we don't eat like I didn't eat spaghetti or like those American like entrees. Like it was always like Korean dishes. And I'm not complaining. I love Korean food. So like stuff like that. So it was like really hard. It was challenging for me to have a conversation with them. But as I got older, like when I went into college, that's when like my life went like changed 180. Um, I like definitely had to get out of my comfort zone to network, or just like meeting new people in general, like fellow classmates and roommates. I think it was like a really good decision for me to have Korean roommates first because I didn't know anyone else in Boston. And then I'll just like kind of work myself way up in building more relationships. But yeah, I feel like college definitely helped me grow out of that social anxiety. But I mean, till this day, like, I feel like I don't have that many white friends.
I can't.
I
I can't.
I have a lot more Asian friends than American friends. I feel
My
kind of
Amer-
intimidated when I
what do you
interact
mean
with white.
American friends?
I don't know. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Maybe I'm just not used to it. I just got too comfortable with my own people, Korean people.
Like Korean Americans?
Yeah, Korean Americans
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like
yeah.
Korean to Korean.
hmm
And I just got like too comfortable in that clique that I
Okay.
was unable to somehow socialize with other different cultures, which I think this is like a mentality type of workout that I just need to get out of. But yeah, that's me.
Well, hearing this, I'm thinking a lot of things about you, Grace. I'm not gonna lie.
Why? About what?
Like, no, how much you've grown and
Mm.
how much you've reflected back on yourself and realized things that you could open up to. Because that's not only what people as us as a human race should do. I feel like it also kind of connects to the BLM movement. Because the Black Lives Matter movement is about understanding that we can be wrong and we might, be closed off to other cultures. Like, for instance, I'm not saying that it was wrong, but
right.
like, how you were hanging out with Korean Americans because they made you feel at home, for instance. But there could have been like Hispanic or, you know what I mean? Like African or like all different kinds of people from different countries that you could have actually been really close to, especially with Black culture, because our cultures are very similar.
That's so
you see
true.
what I mean? All these things that you never would have thought of. That's what the movement was trying to tell people, that everyone has something similar.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, just seeing you acknowledge that all in your own head and understanding that, there's a whole different world out there where even if you feel anxious, someone else feels that way about you too, because you're Asian. They might have, like I've seen all kinds of people, and it's just you're a very beautiful one.
Oh wow! Thank you so much for your kind words.
Oh, of course, sweetie. I only say what I mean. Also, I have nicotine in my mouth. That's probably why I feel better right now.
Girl, you're so funny.
I love you, man.
But how about you? What was your social anxiety like back when you were little, and then how is it now today?
Well, so when I was little, it was more of a sense of I didn't mind. I didn't mind that I wasn't able to read social cues. I knew to a certain extent because I kept getting in trouble. But I couldn't read the room. Social cues were just nothing to me.
I see.
Yeah, but I was still sweet. I learned to be kind from a young age from my parents. That's something I'm very grateful for. But kindness only takes you so far. And after a while, even the purest children will find some fault in you to pick on, to bring themselves up and bring you down in the process. But that's just how humans are. It's not that I blame them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's something that a lot of kids with social anxiety should also understand.
Yeah.
That it's not their fault.
Yeah.
They might be, they might be doing something so amazing for all these other their friends.
Right.
And these friends don't reciprocate. I'm not American, okay?
It's okay.
Reciprocate. Thank you.
Yeah.
God. See, this is why I need an American in the room. Yes, those feelings towards me. But I think that was when it really started, because I thought that them not returning the love that I had for them was normal. So, an easy way of putting it is like, if they want my toy, I would always give it to them. But they would never give it back.
Right.
Because after a while, it's in human nature, they'll take it for granted. Right? It's things like that. And as I grew older, I grew a lot more reserved. Because, I was having all these thoughts. I was slowly starting to get depressed when I was 9. And I didn't understand why I was feeling empty. Why I didn't feel like things were right. But it wasn't like a full-blown depression. Right? So all those things came together. Social anxiety barred me from making any friends, because if I try to go to somebody, they A, take advantage of me, or B, just think I'm annoying.
Yeah. Oh.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, that was how I was. And then I met one or two people who truly I understood me as I understood them, which was the first time ever. And I was, how old was I? I was 14 when I met the two people who truly understood me.
Wow.
One of whom I am still beautiful friends with, and the other who I wish I hadn't met. So that was my first boyfriend at the time, which I think I did tell you about him before.
I think I know who you're referring to.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and you know, as I may have told you too, Grace, he was abusive, but I wasn't that great to him either, because what did I know? I was just the same. I had grown up looking at my parents who were going through a lot of things, being depressed themselves. They were not in the right state to take care of children, and that was all I knew about love, about relationships. But I feel like that the reason I wanted to tell you this on this podcast is because I feel like this is the case for so many people, so many women especially, that they start to look for a partner to rely on, like a parent, like a friend. They try to embody everything into this one person to feel better. But the problem is that that person is another human being who will eventually make mistakes and who cannot be perfect. Yeah, wow. But I don't know. I felt like that was a part that would help people understand.
Yeah, most definitely.
That,
well, yeah. First and foremost, like, thank you for sharing to us about your past and stuff like that. I think this is something I feel like some people could take lightly of when it comes to social. Oops, sorry, that was my Apple Watch. Something that people could really underestimate someone's emotion when it comes to social anxiety. I feel like there could be people that could just tell you to shove it under the rug and just go out there. But it doesn't work that way because everyone is unique in their own ways and they process and approach differently. And I'm glad that, like, someone like you was able to share that vulnerability and that sensitivity about your experience. Yeah.
Thank you, Grace. It's really sweet of you. I miss you a lot.
Oh, I miss you too. But yeah,
I feel awkward.
When you mentioned about relying on that one particular person, it's always nice to have a friend to lean on, right? But then, like, I feel like in order, like, before you even do that, I feel like you also have to really self-reflect on yourself and know where that balance, like, is. Because if you happen to, like, when you mentioned that, if you rely on that one person, that one person isn't Jesus, I mean, there is Jesus resource, but if we're talking about, like, another human being in this world, it's that he or she is gonna make mistakes because we're perfectly imperfect,
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I really like that point that you mentioned about because that's really important. Definitely continue to utilize and reach out to those people who you trust and rely on. But in the end, it's also important to also know how to handle the situation yourself. So just knowing that balance. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something it's funny, like we hear that, like, like we hear like empowering women tell us that we only need ourselves, we need no man, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But we still kind of forget.
Yeah.
It's so easy to forget.
Yeah.
Like, because when you're holding such a big burden all your life, and then you find, a person like that, it's hard to not want to give it all, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
But you're
is.
right. The key factor is that we have to find ourselves before, and not never really truly rely completely on somebody, because that's just not right.
Yeah, yeah, that is so
Yeah.
true. Yeah, I can also like relate to that. Um, like because I had social anxiety, um, I didn't. Not only I had an anxiety of interacting with other people, but
Mm-hmm.
also like I was really lost in myself too. I was figuring out consistently. It was almost like I didn't know how to interact with myself. I didn't know
Mm.
what I want. I didn't know what I needed. I felt like people needed to be straight up with me to tell me like what I want or what I needed. And that was like the first phase of freshman year in college because I was still figuring out. I came from like a very shigor like hometown. I went to the city.
North Carolina.
Yep,
Sorry.
North Carolina. Yep. um, so definitely like my roommates have helped me along with that process, and Berkeley is such a diverse city, and like
Mm-hmm.
Berkeley itself a like diverse school, and so just at least just listening, not so much of like interacting where like I feel like I need to talk, but all I did was I just listened, and through that really helped me break things down and helped me to understand this culture that I am like surrounding myself in right now, or so that was like really helpful. Yeah, I think college really teaches you a lot because there's a lot of group activities
Oh, definitely.
and stuff. So yeah.
That's something I realized talking to my boyfriend now, Devin, is that people, because the only small town person I'd met before him was you.
Hmm.
But it's not like we ever
Right.
really talked about North Carolina.
Right.
Carolina.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I can I still can't do a country accent. I don't know how to do it.
Howdy, y'all. I can't do it either. I'm not
Y'all.
American.
So before our call, I actually did some research based on social anxiety
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't want our conversation to just only be based on our own personal inputs or experiences, although those are like really great resources. But I just wanted to also learn like the facts about this type of diagnosis or about social anxiety in general. And so I actually was looking at some treatments that there are a couple of options and resources that people who, um, whether if it's severe or not, that there
Mm-hmm.
are these treatments available. Like prescription is one of them, cognitive behavior therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy, and psychoanalysis. So I think it's really great how there are a lot of resources
Mm-hmm.
that can like help you guide through in this type of situation or in this child.
I think that you put up a really good point, in the sense that people should know that there are resources for them,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and it's a stigma that therapy isn't normal. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, people with social anxiety should know that everyone has issues.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that theirs is less worse or anything, but it means that they have the help.
Mm-hmm.
It's there.
Yeah.
They just have to reach for it.
Yeah. I agree. And it's not a
Yeah,
weakness to reach out for help, first of all. And
exactly.
that's really important to know. Um, and it's, I think what you said, like, it doesn't make you any less just because you're going through whatever situation or challenge you may be going through. It's, I feel like at some point we just like go through it, and then work our way through it in different ways. There are people who will heal faster or work faster, heal slower or work slower, and that's okay. I think the most important is that you um, go with your own pace. Yeah, and not comparing with other people's paces. Yeah.
That's the best thing. Yeah, don't compare yourself to others' progress.
Yeah.
It literally doesn't make any sense to do that.
Yeah.
There was actually something that I thought about last night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was thinking about our podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and we had discussed that we were going to talk about social anxiety, and I was thinking, what if we create a cheat sheet for people who are socially anxious?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so like you said, there are resources, but therapy isn't, a lot of people aren't open to it. So another way to get through to them might be a book.
Wow. That's a
Like
really
a legit cheat sheet book.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. That's actually a really good idea. Yeah, we should provide that.
I mean, you as a musical therapy major, and I'm more of a, I'm a writer. So, I mean, I thought, what better project for two people who are trying to achieve the same thing?
Yeah, definitely we should be advocate of that, spread more awareness to it, and provide resources. I think it's awesome that like I feel this passion from you, how much you want to contribute into this, and wanting to provide resources for those people who are going through this. And I think that's amazing. Yeah, we should definitely do it. I'm just gonna shut up. Yeah, let's do it.
I have you on here now. You can't take back your word.
Yeah, let's do it. Cheers.
Cheers.
But yeah, so that is all the time that we have for now. So thank you, Seohyun, for joining me in this coffee.
It was my pleasure and my honor, Miss Cock.
It was so great. It was so really fun catching up with you and discussing the importance of this. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. I miss you, Grace.
Oh, I miss you too. Wishing you all the best and well in New York.
Thank y'all. I'll keep you updated.
Yes, please do. Yeah, yes. More coffee soon,
More coffee soon.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Bye, love.
All right. Bye.